Students, now we have to go for third unit, design of flexible and rigid payments. First, we have to see what is in the payments. Durable surface material laid down on an area intended to sustain vehicular load or traffic, such as a roadway or walkway. We can classify into two types. One is flexible payments, another one is rigid payments. First, you have to see what is into flexible payments. It should be bituminous, and then it should be black top payments. That is called flexible payments. Rigid payments is also called as cement concrete payment or white surface payment. Okay. Next, what is a comparison between flexible payments and rigid payments? First, you have to see flexible payments and then rigid payments. First one have low flexural strain for flexible payment. In rigid payments, you have to see have more flexural strain. Second one, load is transferred by grain to grain contact. In second one, no such phenomenon of grain to grain load transfer exit. Surfacing cannot be laid directly on surface subgrade, but a subbase is needed. Surfacing can be directly laid on the subgrade. In flexible payments, no thermal stress are induced. Expansion joints are needed. Design life 10 to 15 years. Design life 20 to 30 years. Initial cost of construction is low. Initial cost of construction is high. Maintenance cost is high for flexible payments. Maintenance cost is low for rigid payments. And then next one, there should be traffic within 24 hours. And then it should be for curing until 14 days of curing. Okay. And then next one, I have to show this one. This is the flexible payment. This is the rigid payments. I will show the difference. Black top payment is called flexible payments. Rigid payments should be cement concrete payments and then white payments. Okay. And then requirements of payments. Sufficient thickness to distribute the wheel load stress to a safe value on the subgrade soil. Structurally strong to withstand all types of stress imposed upon it. Adequate cushion of friction to prevent skidding of vehicles. Smooth surface to provide comfort to road users even at high speed. Produce least noise from moving vehicles. Dust proof surface so the traffic safety is not impaired by reducing visibility. Impervious surface so that subgrade soil is well protected. Long design life with the low maintenance cost. Okay. Next one I have to show this one. Distribution of pressure produced by multi-wheel assembles. Second one, distribution of pressure under single wheel loads. We have to show this one. This is the combined stress from wheels. This one is the approximate 2 years. This one is something structures, and then this one is something structures. This is called A section. This is called B section. This one is wheel load, and then pavement. Ground surface is called pavements. Okay. Distribution of pressure zone is a load. Here also load. And rigid pavements. This one is a subgrade. Base subgrade. Okay. Next we have to go for types of flexible pavements. Conventional layered flexible pavements. Asphalt pavements contained rock asphalt mat. Conventional flexible pavements are layered systems which high quality expensive materials are placed in the top where stress are high. Low quality cheap materials are placed in low layers. Second and full depth asphalt pavements are constructed by placing bituminous layers directly on subsoil. Directly on the subsoil grade is more suitable when there is high traffic and local materials are not available. Third one, contained rock asphalt mat are constructed by placing dense open graded aggregate layering between two asphalt layers. Next one, surface course, base course, subbase. Usually subgrade, extending soils, cross-section of flexible pavements. Other one is longitudinal joints, transverse joints. This is the tied rigid shoulders, concrete slab jointed, viscous non-erosive. Another one is surface course, existing soils, cross-section of rigid pavements. Okay. First diagram represents for cross-section of rigid pavements. Cross-section of flexible pavements. This one is a tag code. This is a prime code. Seal code. This is called seal code. This is surface base case 100 to 30 sorry 300 mm, surface case 100 to 300 mm, computer submitted on 50 to 300 mm. Okay, next load is transfer grain to grain contact. Next one, typical layer of flexibles on the seal coat, one is tag coat, another is prime coat. We can class it into three coat: seal coat, tag coat, prime coat. First, you have to see seal coat. Thin surface treatment used to waterproof of the structures and broad skilling resistance and to seal surfacing agent in the increase of waters. Tag coat is a very light application of asphalt, usually asphalt emulsion diluted with waters. It provides a proper bonding between two layers of one binding course. It is generally applied on impervious surface. Prime coat. Prime coat is an application of low viscous liquid monomerous material over an existing porous or absorbent surface, absorbent pavement surface like waterborne macadam road. Primary objective is to plug the capillary voids on the porous surface and to bond the loose materials on the existing surface like grounder base on which a binder layer is placed. It's bonding with two layers. Okay, I have to show this is the prime coat. Before payment, before you complete your flexible pavements, you have to making for prime coat. Okay, next one, seal coat. It should be smoothness. Okay, surface should be smooth. Next one, typical layer of flexible pavements surface course. Surface course is a layer directly in contact with the traffic loads and generally contains separate quality materials that are generally usually constructed with the dense graded asphalt concrete. Smoothness, drainage, also it will prevent the weather surface equivalent to surface water into the underlying base, subbase and subgrade. It provides a smooth and skidding resistance riding surface. It must be waterproof like the inlet base and subgrade from the weakening effect of waters. Okay, next on binder course. These layers provide the bulk of the asphalt concrete structures. It's a chief purpose to use to distribute load to the base course. The binder course generally consists of aggregates having less asphalt and does not require quality as high as the surface course. So replacing a part of surface course by the binder course result in more economical design. Base course. Base course is a layer of material immediately beneath the surface of binder course and it provides additional load distributions and contributes to the subsurface composed of crushed stone and other treated or stabilized materials. Okay, typical layers of flexible pavements. Now, subbase course, another one is upgrade. Okay, subbase course. First, you have to see subbase course is a layer of material beneath the base course and the primary function of to provide structural support and to improve drainage. Okay, maybe waterborne macadam road or waterborne macadam. A subbase course is not always needed or used. For example, pavement constructed over a high quality. Another one is subgrade. The topsoil or subgrade is a layer of a natural soil prepared to receive the stress from the layer above. It is essential that no time soil subgrade is what stressed. It should be compacted with the desirable density near the optimum moisture content. Next one, types of rigid pavements. Jointed plain concrete pavements, JPCP, jointed reinforced concrete pavement, JRCP, continuous reinforcement concrete pavement, CRCP, pre-stressed concrete pavement, PCP. Next one, jointed plain concrete pavement. Okay, constructed with closely spaced contraction joints, dual bars or aggregate interlocks are normally used for load transfer across joints. They normally has a joint spacing of 5 to 10 meters. Jointed reinforced concrete pavements. Next one. Reinforced load improve the structural capacity significantly, but they can drastically increase the joint spacing to 10 to 30 meters. Dual bars are required for load transfer. Reinforcement help to keep the slab together even after cracks. Continuous reinforcement concrete pavements. Complete elimination of joints are achieved by reinforcement. This is the untoward transfers. Untoward transfers. First one, type A, untied longitudinal bars. Type A3. Another one is dual transfers. Type A2, tied longitudinal. Type A4. Okay. First one you have to see T by 4 minus T by 3. And then T by 3 is the thickness. and then this is a T by 2, and then this is a T by 2. T stands for thickness of concrete slab. Now you have to say standard spacing 15 feet, longitudinal joints, type bar, direction of travel, transverse joint, base, subgrade, dual, okay, side view. Next one, I have to show the longitudinal joints. In rigid pavements, I have to show longitudinal joints. Another one is transverse joints. This is the transverse joints. This is the longitudinal joints. Okay. Next one, granular motifs. This is the granular motifs. This is the you have to making for prime coat. Let's see. This is the granular motifs also. Okay. Next one. You should refer the books Kannan Jasto for IU engineering, okay, and also you should refer IRC code books also. Continue flexible pavements. Show the diagram. This is the rigid pavements. You have to see the longitudinal pavements, the transverse pavements. You have to see now. Then you have to see this one is a rigid pavement surface. At the time of doing the rigid pavements, I will show the diagram. Here also you have to see at the time of flexible pavements, I have to show the diagram. Okay. Next one, types of pavements. In types of pavements, we have two types. One is flexible pavements, another one is rigid pavements. In flexible pavements, you have to see one is natural formation, formation level, surface course, base course, surface dressing. We have to see here in rigid pavements only three layers only: natural formation, formation level, subbase, concrete slab. Okay. Next one, I have to show the wheel load, granular structures. This one is okay. Wheel load distribution, load distribution patterns, surface layer, base course, subbase, selected layers, subgrade. Okay. Next one, subgrade, existing soil, subbase course, optional, base course, surface course. This one is a you have to see this diagram, flexible pavements. You have to apply the load. Ground surface upgrade. Second one is subbase, surface base. You have to apply the load. Subgrade, existing soil, subbase course optional, base course, surface course. Another one you have to see rigid pavements. One is a subgrade. Another one is rigid pavement. You have to apply the load and then subgrade existing soil, subbase course, base course, surface course. You have to see. Already I told that longitudinal joints is this one, transverse joint is this one. Okay. Next one, jointed plain concrete pavements, JPCP. Okay. Okay, now we have to see for jointed plain concrete pavements, JPCP. Okay, this is the top view, and then I have to show the slab, joint plain concrete pavements. I have to show this diagram. Typical spacing 3.7 to 6.1 meters, that is 12 to 20 feet. This is the longitudinal joint. This is the tie bar, direction of travel. Okay, you have to go for this way. And then another one is a transverse joint. This is the transverse joint. This is the dual bar. This is the side view, and then base, subbase, subgrade. Okay, you have to see this one. This is the longitudinal pavements. This is the longitudinal pavements. This is the transverse pavement. Okay. Next one, jointed CC, cement concrete pavements. CC stands for. This is the tie bar, temperature steel, dual bar. Another one is contraction joints, longitudinal joints. Okay. Next one, load distributions. You have to apply the load, flexible pavements, base, subgrade. You have to apply the load, rigid pavements, subgrade. Rigid pavements and flexible pavements, load distributions. Next one, components of flexible pavements, surface course, base course, subbase course, that is optional. Subgrade, existing soil. Okay. Next one, function and significance of subgrade properties. Basement of soil of road bed, important for structural and pavement life. It should not deflect excessively due to dynamic loading. It may be in full or embankments. I have to show the photo for Pretitic Engineering in India. This is in Indonesia, sorry. Okay, flexible payments design by using IRC 37 2001, using codebook basic principles, vertical stress or vertical strain on subgrade, tensile stress or tensile strain on surface course. Factors for design of payments: design wheel load, static load on wheels, contact pressure, load repetitions, subgrade soils, thickness of pavement required, stress strain, behavior under load, moisture variations, climatic factors, that is rainfall, pavement components, materials, environmental factors, height of embankment and its detailed traffic characteristics, required cross-sectional elements of the alignment. Next one, pavement response under load. This is the diagram for axial load. This is the surface course. I have to show this diagram for surface. I have to give the symbol del, base, subbase, I have to give the symbol epsilon, subbase course. And then subgrade soil, I have to give the materials. You have to see different materials, you have to use it, you have to see this one. Okay, this is a soil, this is a subbase, base course soil, and then surface, top surface, you have to apply the aggregates. Okay, and then next we have to go for axial configurations. Axial is a central shaft for rotating wheel or gear. What purpose you have to use for axial? We have to use it for central shaft for rotating wheel. Single axial with single wheel, legal axial load 6 feet, tandem axial, legal axial load 18 tons. Single axial with dual wheel, legal axial load 10 tons. Tridem axial, legal axial load 24 tons. Okay, you have to see here, you have to see the tires in bottom of the vehicle. Okay. Next one, two axle truck configurations. Two axle truck 16 ton, five axle truck 40 tons, LCV. Another three axle truck 24 tons, four axle semi articulated 34 tons. Okay. Next one, standard axle, single axle with dual wheel carrying a load of 80 kiloton, 8 tons is defined as standard axle. 80 kilotons standard axle. Next one, evolution of pavement component layers subgrade. To receive layers of pavement material placed over it, plate bearing test, California bearing ratio test, traction compression. Next one, design using CPR value of subgrade soil. California State Highways Department method, required data, design traffic in terms of cumulative number of standard axles, CSA, CPR value of subgrade. Okay. Next one, I have to show the traffic data. Initial data in terms of number of commercial vehicles per day, CVPD, traffic growth rate during design life in percentage, design life in number of years, distribution of commercial vehicles over the carriageway. Traffic in terms of commercial vehicles per day. In terms of CSA, 8,160 kg during design life initial traffic. In terms of cumulative vehicles per day, based on 7 days, 24 hours, the classified traffic growth rate 7.5% may be assumed. National highways 15 years, expressway and expressway and urban roads 20 years, other category road 10 to 15 years, vehicle damage factors VDF. Multiple to convert number of commercial vehicles of different axle load and axial configuration to the number of standard axle load repetition indicate vehicle damage factor values. Normally axle load by 8.2 over n equal 4 minus 5. Okay, indicative vehicle damage factors values. Initial traffic to terms of CV per day. Terrain, train, rolling, another one is hilly. 0 to 150, 1.5, 0.5, 150 to 1500 for train rolling. 3.5 for hilly areas 1.5 should be greater than 1500, plain and rolling terrain 4.5, hilly areas 2.5. Okay, and then we have to see here distribution of traffic, so you can classify it into three roads. One is a single lane road, two lane with a single carriageway road, four lane with single carriageway roads. Single roads, in both directions. Two lane single carriageway roads. 70% of total number of commercial vehicles in both directions. 40% of the total number of commercial vehicles in both directions. Dual carriageway roads. For two lane dual carriageway, 70% of the number of commercial vehicles in each direction. For three lane, 60% of four lane, 40%. Okay, competition of traffic for use of payments and thickness design. So n equal to 365 into A, 1 plus r power n minus 1 divided by r into d into capital D into capital F. Now you have to go for, you have to see one by one. You have to express the n value. N equal to cumulative number of standard axle to be catered for the design in terms of million standard axles. D equal to line distribution factors. A equal to initial traffic in the year of completion of construction in terms of number of commercial vehicles per day. P into 1 minus r power x. P equal to number of commercial vehicles as per last count. X equal to number of years between the last count and the year of completion of construction. F equal to vehicle damage factors. N equal to design life in years. R equal to annual growth rate of commercial vehicles. Next one, CPR. You have to use it for soil. You are testing the materials by using CPR testing machines. It is a ratio of force per unit area required to penetrate the soil mass with the standard circular piston at the rate of 1.25 mm per minute to that required for the corresponding penetration of a standard material. And then next one, applied load, standard plunger, transfers to measure penetrations, annular weight, optional sample standard mode. Okay. Next one, subgrade, soak the solution in water for 4 days and CPR to be determined. Use of expensive clay not to be used as a subgrade, not expensive soil to be proposed. Subgrade to the well compacted to utilize its full strength. Top 500 mm to be compacted to 97% of MDD. Modified Proctor test. Material should be have a dry density of 1.75 gram per cc. Next one, flexible design chart IRC for CSA should be less than 10 million standard axles. I will show the diagram. You see this one, CBR. Then you have to see this one. First one, CBR for 700. This is the in x-axis total thickness of in y-axis total thickness of pavement in mm. In x-axis pavement thickness design chart for traffic 1 to 10 million standard axles. Design traffic million standard axles. In y-axis you have to see 700. CBR value is 2%. In y-axis 600. CBR value 3%. In y-axis, that is total thickness of pavements mm 500. CBR value is 4% in x-axis. In y-axis 400. CBR value is 3%, 5%. And then in for long rightly go to 500. CBR value is 6%. Then 600. CBR value is 7%. 800, 700 is goes to CBR value is 8%. And then 800 goes to CBR value 9%. 900 it goes to CBR value is 9%. The 1000 it goes to CBR value is 10%. Okay. Then this is the pavement design catalog. Recommended design for traffic range 1 to 10 million standard axis. CBR 6%. Cumulative traffic, that is MSA, million standard axis. Total pavement thickness mm. CBR 6%. Pavement composition, bituminous surfacing, varying course, binder course, granular base, granular subbase. That is given cumulative traffic million standard axis 1, 2, 3, 5, 10. Total pavement thickness mm 390, 450, 490, 535, 615. Varying course mm 20 PC, 20 PC, 20 PC, 25 SD, MPC, 40 PC. Then binder course in mm 50 BM, 50 BM, 50 TPM, 60 TPM. Granular base in mm 225, 225, 250, 250, 250. Granular subbase mm 160, 190, 210, 260. Flexible pavement less IRC CSA should be less than 10 million standard axles. See, cumulative number of standard axles should be less than 10 million standard axles. You have to see this one in x-axis. You have to plot the graph. In traffic million standard axle. In y-axis you have to plot the graph. Thickness composition in mm. You have to see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, and then 200, 400, 600, 700. The CBR percentage is 6%. You have to granular subgrade soil. This is the shape for granular subgrade soil. And then granular base, this one. You have to see the difference between granular subbase, granular base. And then dense base, macadam. You see this diagram. Then base, macadam. You see this one. base course and the standard dense base course and then plain course. Okay. Next one, I have to see the flexible payment design chart IRC. You have to see this one. I have to plot the graph of payment thickness, the design chart for traffic 10 to 15 million standard access, design traffic MSA, and the total thickness payment in MO. You have to see 500 to CPR 10. You have to see one by one. First one, you have to plot the graph in y axis, total thickness payments MO, CPR 2%, 800, CPR 3%, 100, CPR 4%, and then 500, CPR 5%, 600. CPR 6%. Similarly, you would go for CPR 500 value, we got the value CPR 10%. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 150. This is the payment thickness chart for traffic 10 to 150 million standard access. Flexible payment design chart IRC. Next one, payment design, catalog recommended design for traffic range 10 to 150 million standard access. CPR percentage 6%, cumulative traffic million standard access 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 150. Total payment thickness 605, 640, 655, 675, 700, 720. Butterfly surfing BC 40, 40, 40 up to 50, 50. And dense butterfly 65, 90, 105, 125, 140, 160. Granular base and subbase in base 50, subbase 260. Flexible payments layers IRC. And then you have to see this one traffic minister access traffic in y-axis thickness and the composition name grander surface course, grander base, dense base, macadam, base course, flexible payment layer IRC, material, natural sand, moradam, moram, gravel, laterite, kanakar, brick metal, crushed stones, crushed slag, crushed concrete, GSP, close, graded, close, graded parameters, graduations, LL, PI, CPR, stability and lineage requirements. Okay. Minimum CPR 20% traffic up to 2 million student access. Minimum CPR 30% traffic should be greater than 2 million student access. If a grander surface course is costly, adapt to waterfall road, waterfall, MM. Minimum thickness of 50 mm should be less than 10 million student access. Minimum thickness 200 mm should be greater than 10 million student access. Minimum CPR 2%. If the CPR should be less than 2% pavement thickness for 2%. CPR for CPR plus capping layer of with minimum CPR 10% in addition to the surface. In case of stage construction, thickness of granular surface course or full design line. Base course or granular base, WM waterborne macadam rod, WM waterborne wet macadam or any other granular construction. Minimum thickness you have to provide 225 should be less than 2 million standard access. Minimum thickness is 250 mm. It should be greater than 2 million standard access waterborne macadam road. Minimum 300 mm. 4 layers on payment each. And design the now we have to go for one simple problem. Design the payment for construction of a new bypass with the following data: 2-lane single carriageway. Initial traffic in the year of completion of construction or some of both direction 400 CPs and commercial vehicles per day. Traffic growth rate per annum 7.5%. Design by 15 years. Vehicle damage factor 2.5. Standard accepts for commercial vehicles. Design CPR only for separate source per percentage. Okay. Design the flexible payments for widening an existing 2-lane national highways 5 to 4-lane divided roads. 4-lane carriageway. Initial traffic in the year of commencement of construction or some of both directions 5,600 commercial vehicles per day. Completion of construction of 2.5 years. Design at 10 by 15 years. Design CPR of separate source 5%. Traffic growth at 8%. Vehicle damage factor 2.5. Found out from actual road survey axles per CV on existing road. Okay. Design of rigid payments as per IRC 58-2002. Stress acting on the rigid payments are wheel load, stress, interior loading, edge loading, corner loading, temperature stress, wrapping stress, frictional stress. I have to show this one. This is the CPR test. This is the reactions. This is the hydraulic jack. This is the pressure gauge, stacked plates, dial gauge, datum frame. Okay. You have to see this one. Okay. You have to testing the confined soil and confined soil. This one. You have to checking. And the radius of reference L equal to EH cubed by 12K 1 mu square all power 1 by 4, where L equal to radius of reference capital E equal to modulus of plus SCD of cement concrete kg per centimeter square, mu equal to Poisson ratio for concrete 0.15, h equal to slab thickness in centimeters, k equal to modulus of circular reaction kg per centimeter cube. God stress equation for wheel load stress of the interior SI equal to 0.316 P divided by h square 4 log this 10 L by B plus 1.069. Stress of the edge SC equal to 0.572 P divided by h square 4 log this 10 L by B plus 0.359. Stress of the current SC equal to 3P by h square 1 minus A under root of 2 divided by L 0.6. Where E equal to design wheel load kg, L equal to radius of fluid stiffness, E equal to force of plus rigidity of cement concrete kg per centimeter square, mu equal to Poisson ratio for concrete 0.15, h equal to slab thickness in centimeters, k equal to modulus of circular reactions kg per centimeter cube, B equal to radius of vehicle and distribution of flow pressure centimeters, B equal to A if A by H should be greater than 1.72 force, B equal to under root of 1.6 A square plus H square and 0.675 H where A by H should be less than 1.74 where A equal to radius of load contact centimeters. Modified viscous stress equation for wheel load modified by Taylor SE equal to 0.57 P by H square 1 plus 0.54 mu into 4 log this 10 L by B plus log this 10 B minus 0.4048 modified by Kelly S equal to 3P by H square 1 minus A under root of 2 by L the whole power 1.2 and then wrapping stress given by Bartley stress of the interior STI equal to E capital E into T by 2 Cx plus mu Cy 1 minus mu square stress of the edge ST equal to Cx E capital E T by 2 ST equal to Cy capital E into T by 2 whichever is higher stress of the curve STC equal to E into small e into T divided by 3 into 1 minus mu under root of A by L okay R equal to E equal to okay good morning students. Now we have to go for continuation for class. Last class we have to see formulas. In formulas we have to see where E equal to modulus of elasticity of cement concrete kg per centimeter square, small e equal to thermal coefficient of concrete per degree Celsius, T equal to temperature difference between the top and the bottom of the slab in degree Celsius, mu equal to Poisson ratio for concrete 0.15, Cx equal to Bar-Bury coefficient based on L by I in desired direction, IRC 58 Cy Bar-Bury coefficient based on B by I in right angle to the desired direction, IRC 58 L equal to length of slab in meters, B equal to width of slab in meters. Okay, where frictional stress equal to S suffix F equal to W into L into capital W into capital L into F divided by 2 into 10 power 4, where S suffix F equal to unit stress developed in cement concrete pavement kg per centimeter square, where W equal to unit weight of concrete about 2400 kg per centimeter square, L equal to length of slab in meters, B equal to width of slab in meters. Okay, now we have to go for problems. Calculate the stress at interior edge and corner region of the cement concrete pavement using Westgard equations. Using the following data: wheel load P equal to 5100 kg, modulus of elasticity of concrete E capital E equal to 3.0 into 10 power 5 kg per centimeter square, pavement thickness H equal to 18 centimeters, Poisson ratio 0.15, modulus of grade reaction 6.0 kg per centimeter cube, radius of contact area 15 centimeters. And then we have more problems. Calculate the radius of relative stiffness. Calculate all as well as compute same thing. Radius of relative stiffness, 15 centimeter thickness, cement concrete slab from the following data: E equal to 21,000 kg per centimeter square, Poisson ratio mu equal to 0.13, K equal to 3 kg per centimeter square, or 7.5 kg per centimeter square. Okay. Now we have to go for the third problem. These problems and all we have to go through in books also. Cannot just okay. Determine the warping stress at interior edge and corner region in a 25 cm thick cement concrete pavement with the transverse joint at 9 meter interval and longitudinal joints at 3.6 meter intervals. The modulus of circular direction is 6.9 kg per centimeter square. Assume temperature difference for day conditions to be 0.6 degrees Celsius per centimeter of the slab thickness. Assume radius of a loaded area as 15 centimeters for computing warping stress at the corner. Capital E equal to 3 into 10 power 5 kg per centimeter square. E equal to 10 into 10 power minus 6 per degree Celsius. Mu equal to 0.15. Okay. Then you should refer the problems Kannan Justo, highway engineering. Then you should refer the code books IRC 50 2002, then IRC 37 2001. Okay. go for one more questions. That is multiple objectives question. The ideal shape of a transition curve is A. Clothoid. I give 4 options. One is clothoid, cuboid spiral, cuboid parabola, laminar shape. For the correct answer is clothoid. Okay. Next one. Full width of land occurred before finalizing highway alignment is known as. I give 4 options. Width of formation, right of way, carriageway, roadway. B is a right option. Right of way. And then tire pressure influence the B. Quality of surface course. I give 4 options. Total depth of pavement, quality of surface course, both the above, none of the above. Correct answer is quality of surface course. Okay. Next one. Any gradient on a road is said to be exceptional gradient if it is in here. Any gradient on a road is said to be exceptional gradient if it is more than ruling gradient. Okay. A is the correct answer. Then I would give the option more than ruling gradient, less than average gradient, more than floating gradient, less than minimum gradient, or more than maximum gradient. But correct answer is more than ruling gradient. Okay. Now we have to go for during the last phase of the curve. We consider the gate line is recorded on 2 meters pole to indicate. I give 4 options. Director of the proposed elements, distance between the previous and forward pegs, relative elevation of the peg, all the above. D is the correct answer, all the above. The most suitable equipment for compacting glass oil is smoothie wheeled roller, pneumatic tired roller, sheep foot roller, vibrator. C is the correct answer, sheep foot roller. Okay. Then now we have to go for last one. Pick out the correct statement from the following. Give 4 statements. One is a seasonal cycle of traffic volume during April and November is usually near the annual average. Mid-winter seasonal cycle of traffic is least. Mid-summer seasonal cycle of traffic is highest. D is the correct answer. Because in April month, people are traveling long distance, and November month also people are driving long distance. In winter season also, traffic sometimes less, sometimes highest. That is, some summer season traffic should be high only, not least. Okay, that purpose you have to go for D is the correct answer. 3 points A, B, and C. 500 meters apart on a straight road have 500 meters, 505 meters, and 510 meters. The reduced level, the roads is said to have D, a negative gradient between A and B. I give the 4 option. No gradient between A and C. A positive gradient between A and C, a negative gradient between A and C, a negative gradient between A and B. D is the correct answer. Next one, select the correct statement. I give the 4th one. A bitumen primer is high viscosity cutback. D is the correct answer. The quantity of a binder required for tack coat is less than that of required for prime coat. Prime coat treatment is given for tugging the wires in waterproof macadam during bituminous road construction. Seal coat is the final coat over certain previous bituminous pavement. A bituminous primer is high viscosity cutback. D is the correct answer. A bituminous primer is a high viscosity cutback. Okay. Next one. The minimum design speed of various type of highways in plain terrain is the same as the ruling design speed of. D is the correct answer. Rolling terrain, mountainous terrain, steep terrain, none of these. Again, you have to listen here. A is the correct answer. Sorry, D is not the correct answer. A is the correct answer. Rolling terrain. Next one. The excessive chamber on pavement may causes deterioration of central portion, slip of the speedy vehicles towards the edge, erosion of the bumps, all the above. In hilly roads, submarines are provided, and only on the hill road, on each side of the road, only on the opposite side of hill, on both sides of the road. A is the correct answer. Only on the hill side of road. Okay. Now we have to go for a selection of the route of highway depends on feasibility of attaining ruling gradient, avoidance of cut or drugs, minimum number of bridges, all the above. Feasibility of attaining ruling gradient. Maximum number of vehicles that can process a given point on a lane during 1 hour without creating unreasonable delay is known as. D is the correct answer. Traffic density of lane, basic capacity of lane, probable capacity of lane, practical capacity of lane. Practical capacity of lane is the correct answer. D is the correct answer. Now we have to go for traffic rotatory is justified where number of intersecting roads is between 4 and 7. Space is limited and costly. When a traffic volume is less than 500 vehicles per hour, when a traffic volume is more than 5,000 vehicles per hour, A is the correct answer. Number of intersecting roads is between 4 advantages of flexible payments. You have to see first one, adaptability to stage constructions. First advantages. Second advantages, availability of low cost types that can be easily built. Third one, ability to easily opened and patched. Easy to repair frost heavy and settlements. Resistance to the formation of ice glass. Next one, disadvantages of flexible payments, higher maintenance cost, shorter lifespan under heavy use, damage by oils and certain chemicals, weaker edges that may require curves or edge device. I should refer code books higher Indian Standard 20 to 2007 code books for rural roads and standard designing for pavement. Kannan Just highway engineering, provisions and general data obtained for soil testing, designing of flexible payments and traffic survey, data beyond data, cost estimation process formed obtained by this book. KR Arora, soil mechanics and foundation, soil test, and the details are obtained in this KR Arora soil mechanics. You easily understand the severe test. Dr. BC Punmia, soil mechanics, soil test, and the applications are from this book. Okay. You should refer the website also, www.civil.org, www.civilwork.org, www.nptl.co.in. Okay.
Hello, good morning everyone. Today we shall start the fourth module. Until now you have studied about the different concept of highway, and that is in first module you studied about the different categories of road, that is what are the characteristics of road, and this, what are the different types of road, and in cities what are the different types of road, and different parameters like what are the ancient or recommendations given by IRC JICA committee. Different types of recommendations you saw in the first module, that is about the basic introduction of the road and history and pattern, isn't it? And in second module you studied, that is you started surveying how your road will start, and what are the necessary conditions, and where your road should pass and where your road should not pass, that you studied in highway alignment. And the continuation of second module, that is in second module only you studied different geometric design, isn't it? That is horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, stopping side distance, vertical distance. And in vertical curve there are two types of curves, that is one is summit curve and another one is sag curve. And in horizontal curve you designed about super elevation, extra widening, and number of factors you design. Okay, that is in first part you understand the basic concept. In second part you surveyed and you designed the roads. Okay, that is the designing will be done in the design office. Next, third module what you did, you tested the different materials. That is, you tested the soil. Okay, you classify the different types of soil. That is, one is according to HRB classification, and another was group index classification. Then you tested different types of aggregates, and also basic properties of the aggregates you tested. Also, you studied the basic properties of bitumen, different characteristics of bitumen. That one already we learnt in laboratory, and also along with that you solved some of the problem, isn't it? And different tests, that is, one is CBR test, platelet test, and these some of the basic tests which were required you studied. Until third module you studied this. Now what you are doing in fourth module, in already you understand the history and you have design. Next you have tested the material. Next, what is your agenda? Next you have to construct. Okay, in this module you are studying the different concept of the construction or construction procedure. That is from the bottommost layer, how the construction procedure will be taking place in the field, and what are the different equipments that is required to construct the different layers, and what is its limitations. Okay, and how the quality testing and how the quality control is being done. All these analysis you are doing in this class. Okay, that that is the basic of this fourth module. Entire no problems is provided, no problems is allotted in your syllabus. Entirely this fourth model is entirely dependent on the construction procedure. Okay, different types of equipments you will be reading, and how the construction is laying in the field. That one you are studying. And in fifth module what you are doing is, once you have constructed the road, then your main agenda or objective is to generate the income, isn't it? Just by collecting the tolls or finance. Okay, how the finance will be operated, that one you will be studying. Okay, these are the basic five models in our highway engineering. That is, first module will be of introduction, second one is of design, third module will be of the testing of the material, fourth module will be of construction procedure, fifth module once you have constructed the road, next your objective is to generate the income. Okay, that one you are studying. We shall see the one by one procedure. Okay, that is, first one is the earthwork and cutting. You can see earthwork, cutting and filling, preparation of the subgrades. This is the first basic, earthwork. Next, wherever cutting is required and when filling is required, you are studying, and preparation of subgrade. Next is the specification and construction of granular subbase, WBM base, WMM, bituminous macadam, dense macadam, and bituminous concrete, and CC concrete. Okay, inter procedure. If you understand any one procedure, next remaining all the construction procedure will be similar, but different types of equipments will be used, and different limiting range will be there. Like, aggregate impact test will be less than 30% for your topmost layer, that is surface course, isn't it? Like that bottommost layer, a superior, the material need not be so superior, so somewhat less strength will be required. Okay, only specification will be different, and almost all the construction procedure will be similar, and you are using different types of equipments. Okay, for soil compaction different types of equipment, and that is for bituminous construction different equipment, and GSB and WMM different types of equipment. Okay, in class means we shall have studied in detail one by one, but just for this purpose we shall uh, finish 2 to 3 in a single class. Okay, so that this entire topic will be completed in 2 or 3 classes, just easy. In your exams you need to write the detailed specification. I will inform you how the questions will be asked in your exams. Okay, just it is a easy complete dry subject, that is entirely theory subjects. I will send some of the videos, and you will also be knowing that you have seen a number of construction in your day to day life, and you are supposed to see the equipments. Okay, during our survey camp only, while coming in the buses, you saw many types of construction equipment. Same equipments here you are using, and it is generally easy. Just if you understand one concept, you will be reading everything. Okay, we shall move. Okay. First one, the basic, or we shall move from the bottommost portion. Okay, that is embankment. We shall understand what is the embankment. Embankment, it is required to rise the grade line of a highway above the existing ground level when it becomes necessary to construct embankment. I will show. Assume this is the road surface. Okay, initially there is no road. Okay, initially there was no road. Okay, this is the road surface, or assume there this is just a village roads. Okay, next you have to upgrade this road to the national highway or state highway. Okay, assume this as a complete, this complete portion will be of some village road. Now you are constructing road above this. What you are doing initially, you are digging the all the layers and you are constructing embankment. Okay, assume this is your road surface. Okay, general profile, and in that, okay, assume your road surface will be like this. Okay, this portion wherever it is, I will show. Okay, assume these all portion wherever the I'm indicating the star. Is it visible? Okay, wherever the star portion I am representing. Okay, the star portion is a in filling portion, that means embankment you need to construct. Okay, this portion where I am indicating with question mark. Okay, assume these question marks are cutting, means you need to cut the soil here. Wherever the star is provided, there you need to provide the filling portion. That filling portion you will call it as a embankment portion. Okay, you know, in your, some of the people have plotted the highway. Okay, in of extensive survey camp, there I have shown what is embankment and what is cutting. This is the first part, that is embankment. It is required to rise the grade line. Means assume this is an original ground level. You need to rise the road level. So you are filling with the embankment. Okay. And what is the objective? To keep the subgrade above the high groundwater table. Means assume. Okay, I will show you here. Why embankment needs to be constructed means, okay, assume this is the normal portion. Okay, this is the normal portion of the ground, and water table, water table will be just beneath your groundwater table. It will be just beneath, that is, it is less than 1.2 meter. Okay, so at that time, you, what you need to means, either you need to de-water. Okay, that is, these are the water, this is the water surface, this is the water surface. Okay, entire thing, there is a water, there is a water below this level only, there is a water. Okay, so if rainwater comes, what will happen? This groundwater table will be rising, isn't it? The groundwater table will keep on rising to the higher level, so your payment will become failure. So the best alternative thing is, either first one is you need to decrease or dewater the water table. Okay, assume the distance is 1 meter, 1.2 meter from here to here, to dewater below that level. Suppose if it is a if it is not economical or it requires high cost, means the best procedure is to construct the embankment. Okay, you are going to construct the embankment above this. Okay, this is the one of the objective. So you are constructing the embankment. That is, if the groundwater table is just below your road surface, or assume it is less than 1.2 meter, at that condition you have to construct the embankment. Okay, that is to keep the subgrade above the high groundwater table. Next, to prevent damage to pavement due to the surface water and capillary water. You know capillary water, that is in BGT or in AGT you have studied this capillary water. Anyway, I will show what is that capillary water. Okay, listen here. This is the normal road surface or subgrade. Okay, and below this, what is happening? Ice crystals. Okay, I will just show. Okay, assume these are the ice crystals. Okay, in between, you wait. This is the road surface, and okay, just observe in between. Okay, now observe in between these two stars there is a void. Can you see? Is it visible? These voids. Okay, assume this as a void. Okay, during winter season, in some of the colder countries, what will happen? The water table, assume here water table is there. Okay, in water table, what will happen? It will melt and it will become ice. That procedure is called as ice crystal. And due to that, what will happen? The water will rise to this surface. Okay, either ice water may rise or normal water will rise to the road surface. That action is called as capillary rise or capillary fall. Okay, I think you have studied in your geotechnical engineering, same procedure. The water will be raised to the road surface. Okay, that process is called as capillary rise. Clear? So to prevent that capillary rise, you are providing the embankment. Okay, that is first procedure is to keep the groundwater table lower. Second one, to prevent the damage of the pavement due to the surface water and capillary water. Third one, to maintain the design standard. Design standards means just like cutting, filling, and to maintain the vertical alignment you are providing. Okay, and these are the design elements that you need to consider this one. That is height. How much height should be provided from the ground level? Next, fill material. Come, uh, you can't simply just construct it at uneven height. Okay, there will be a some standard height. That much height you should fill the material. Third one, it should not undergo settlement due to the rainfall. Okay, next, stability of the foundation means the soil or whatever the embankment you have constructed, it should be having a good stability. Okay, similarly, stability of the slopes. Stability of the slopes, you can see here, this is the slope. Okay, this is the main carriageway, and from here to here there is a slope. Okay, there will be a stability of the slope, otherwise the soil will be eroded. Okay, so to prevent this, there should be a proper stability of the embankment. Clear? We shall see in detail one by one. First one is the height. That is, height of the embankment depends on the desired grade line. That is just now I shown. That is either it is a cutting or filling, and also it will depend upon the topography. Okay, whether it is a hilly terrain or it is a natural hilly terrain or mountainous terrain, plain terrain. On all these factors, the height of the embankment will be depending. Okay, and also height of the fill is sometimes governed by the stability of foundation, particularly when the foundation soil is weak. If foundation soil is very weak means, or assume any black cotton soil, or if the soil which will be having a low stability will is available on the nearby surface means usually or generally the height will be increases, isn't it? If the soil is having a good density or good stability power means you can reduce the height of the embankment. Okay, and this height will depend upon the foundation. Next, second one is the filling material. Which type of soil you need to use to fill the material? You have to study that. That is first material is granular soil. You know that is granular soil will be used in a highway. Okay, the granular soil will be preferred all over the highway. Either it may be for embankment or it may be for a subgrade. And usually the silts and clays are avoided. Okay, because it is less desirable and it is not having a good properties to withstand the load, so you are avoiding the silts and clays. Also, organic soils will be avoided. Why means organic soil, it will help for the growing of the plants. Okay, which is avoid, which you should avoid in a highway. Okay, so organic soils are not preferred and silts and clays are not preferred. Only granular soils will be preferred in the construction. Okay, and you have to survey the soils available in the local, and so that the cost of the construction will be reduces. Okay, next, settlement. That is embankment may settle after the completion of the construction. Okay, assume you have constructed a good road, but after the construction, embankment may fail due to the consolidation. Assume due to the increase in a rain water, the embankment which you have constructed may undergo consolidation due to the accumulation of water. So you should check for the good, better withstanding of the foundation, sorry, embankment. Okay, it should not undergo any type of settlement. Okay, next one, stability of the foundation. When the embankment of consists of weak soil, okay, just beneath or at a certain depth. Assume, I will just give an example. At 100 chainage, your road will be having a foundation. Assume just below, just 2 meter below the embankment. That is 99.8. Okay, at 99.8 meters chainage, the soil is very weak. Okay, at that time there is a chance of failure of the foundation, so you should consider these in a these factors while constructing the embankment. Okay, that is when the embankment foundation consists of weak soil just beneath. Okay, that means just below or at a certain depth below in the form of weak stratum, it is essential to consider the stability. Means you need to design the soil against this failure. Okay, next, stability of slopes. Embankment slopes should be stable enough to eliminate the possibility of failure under adverse motion. Usually, your slope, that is, embankment slopes, will fail due to the moisture condition, due to the raining condition. Okay, so you have to consider or you have to design for the stability of the slope. Okay, just like in your structural design, you will consider minimum factor of safety, right? Similarly, here also you have to consider the factor of safety of 1.5. Okay, suppose strength is 1 means you have, you know what is factor of safety, like that you have to consider or you have to provide 1.5% factor of safety. Okay, just I will give example. If the load on the aggregate is 100 kilonewton, factor of safety means 100 into 1.5, like means you have to design it for 150 kilonewton load. Okay, just like that you have to consider factor of safety here also. Okay, and how the construction of embankment will be taking place, we shall see. That is, embankment may be constructed either by rolling in a relatively thin layer. You have seen the different types of roller. Okay, what you will do, first you will bring the soil from the quarry or nearby side. Next, you will spread the soil, then you will compact in a thin layer. Okay, that is called as rolled earth method and is preferred in highway embankments. Okay, each layer is compacted by rolling to a desired satisfactory desired degree or desired density. I have told you many times that is you have to compact by adding a moisture water. Okay, and you have to achieve the minimum dry density. So only you are finding the moisture content or optimum moisture content in the laboratory. That is, you have done in CHMT lab also, and you have done in GT lab also. Okay, to find the maximum dry density and optimum moisture content. That is two methods: standard Proctor method and normal Proctor method. Okay, and we shall see the first one, that is granular subbase. Yes, just for a few minutes you listen this first procedure. If you understand the construction of granular subbase course, automatically you can write the other different layers with just a different specification. All the things of construction will be same. Okay, we shall see how the granular subbase will be constructed. Okay, you can see here GSB. GSB means it is a layer which is provided between subgrade and BC, or you can tell it as base course. Okay, subgrade and base course, between these two layers the GSB is provided. The abbreviation of GSB is granular sub base. Okay, just remember this is the layer subgrade. Above that GSB is there, and above that BC, that is bituminous base course will be provided. Okay, and GSB, it may be constructed either in a single layer or it may be constructed in or two or three layer depending upon the design. Assume if the thickness of the GSB is 200 or 250 mm, you can construct in a single layer. Okay, suppose if it is 500 or 600 mm means you need to construct in three layer. That is, you are dividing 200 mm of first layer, next 200 mm of the second layer, and next 200 mm of third layer. Okay, like that you are constructing. Next, GSB layer should be laid over the full width of the prepared subgrade. Okay, just see the figure. Before this construction procedure, I will just in brief tell the how the construction will be taking place. If you understand that procedure, you will be able to write the remaining answer. See here. Okay, assume this is the embankment layer. Okay, this is the embankment width. Usually, your foundation or your road will be like this. Okay, this is the general surface of your road. Okay, assume this is a road surface and just note down these points. The bottommost layer is embankment. That this is the embankment will be provided only in a filling portion, and above embankment you are providing subgrade. Above subgrade you are providing subbase. Above subbase you are providing base course. Above base course you are providing binder course. Okay, this is called as embankment. Above embankment subgrade will be provided. Above subgrade you are providing subbase. It may be GSB. Okay, which means granular subbase. It is called as granular subbase. Above this there is a layer called base course, which may be W, mm or WBM. Okay.
Waterborne.
Yes, waterborne macadam. And above this, you are providing binder course. Above this, you are providing binder course. Okay. It may be usually DBM, dense bituminous macadam, and topmost layer is called as BC. Okay. Surface course, which may be BC. Okay, you will call it as bituminous concrete layer. Okay, just for few minutes understand, embankment will be provided. This embankment will be provided only in filling portion. If it is a cutting portion, this embankment will not be rising. Okay, and this is subgrade. Okay, this subgrade usually you are providing in 2 to 3 layers. Okay, you are providing 2 to 3 layers subgrade. 2 to 3 layers. Okay, and its thickness vary upon the design. Usually 400 to 500 mm will be provided, and above this GSP. It is usually provided in single layer, or in some of the cases it will be provided in 2 layers. And this WMM usually it is provided in a 2 layers. Okay, it is provided in 2 layers, and above this binder course or DBM is there. You will provide this DBM in a single course, 1 layer, and similarly this also we will provide in a single layer. Okay, just understand this procedure how it will be constructed. You can see here, I will just give an example. Okay, you can see the total width of the embankment. Okay, total width, assume this width as a some 20 meter. Okay, and we are constructing for a 2 lane. Okay, and top width will be such that this is the top width, that is bituminous concrete. This width for 2 lane, it will be usually 7 to 7.5 meter. Okay, 7 to 7.5 meter. You can see here how the construction has done. Initially the width is more. Okay, that is the load. You can see here, I will just show. Okay, the load, it will be transforming in this portion. Okay, that is in a trapezoidal portion. Okay, the load will be distributed in the trapezoidal manner. Okay, this is the form. Okay, that is load will be distributed in a trapezoidal manner. So initially the top width will be lesser and bottom width will be greater, so it will be in a form of a trapezoidal portion. In flexible pavement and concrete pavement design or difference, I have informed you, that is load distribution pattern of flexible pavement is truncated portion, or it is called as a trapezoidal portion. Okay, just assume initially what you will do, you will construct the embankment. Okay, and above that, suppose if it is 20 meter means the width will go on decreasing, that is 19 or 18. Okay, each layer your first the main procedure of entire construction is, first one you are bringing the soil or material from the different portion, and after that you are laying. Okay, once the laying is done, the next part is to compaction. Okay, once laying is done, next compaction is done, and after compaction you are testing the different properties, that is plasticity limit, liquid limit, CBR, and moisture content, dry density. Entire thing you are testing. If it work out to be within the limit, okay, assume maximum dry density should be 98%. If you get maximum density of 98%, you are laying the next layer. Suppose if it is not of that limit, again you are adding some amount of water and you are achieving the dry density. Okay, and if the material or if the construction procedure is poor means, the third party, he won't agree. Okay, that third party will be from the government only. Okay, they will ask you to relay or reconstruct the surface. Okay, like that the procedure will be taking place. Here you can understand subgrade procedure just in detail. I will usually first layer you will construct. Okay, once after achieving all the desired limitations, next you are going to construct the second layer. Okay, like this usually the construction procedure will be taking place in the field. Okay, this is the basic procedure. Okay, that is the this GSB is provided in between subgrade and base course. GSB layer should be laid over the full width. Okay, just now I showed whatever may be the total width up to that width. Suppose 20-meter is the width, means you have to lay for the entire width. For 20-meter width of the subgrade, you have to lay the GSB layer, that is extending on the both the layer. And this, what are the functions? It will act as a drainage layer. Remember, this GSB will be called as the drainage layer. Okay, it will act as a drainage layer, and it will not allow the water to percolate inside the moist subgrade. So it is called as a drainage layer. Okay, and it will lead to the longitudinal roadside drains, such that only a very small, only if suppose 90%, in 90% it will only allow 2 to 3% of water to enter the subgrade. Because if any failure occurs in the subgrade, means entire pavement will be failure. Okay, that is entire flexural pavement will become fail. So you need to construct in such a manner that a minimum amount of water should percolate inside the subgrade. Okay, hence this layer is called as a drainage layer. Okay, and it will also act as a structural component, means it will take some amount of the load. Usually load will be distributed from the topmost portion to the bottommost portion. Okay, suppose 100 kilonewton is the load which stand by the bituminous concrete, and it will transfer some 90% of the load, like 90 kilonewton to the dbm, and 80 kilonewton to the wmm, and 50 or 40 kilonewton to the gsb. Okay, load will be decreasing as the depth increases. That is the common point in this. Next, what are the materials required for gsb? These are the materials. One is crushed stone aggregates. You have seen these aggregates in our laboratory. We have tested different types of aggregates, isn't it? Or in abrasion test you use some different bigger size of aggregates, isn't it? 53 passing and 40 retained aggregates you use. Usually that material will be preferred for the construction of gsb layer. That is crushed stone aggregates is the first. Then some amount of gravel is required, and coarse sand, you can call it as coarse sand. Nowadays m sand will be using. Okay, coarse m sand will be used as a coarse sand. And okay, this is the general procedure. Okay, that is the size of the aggregate required or soil required is passing of 0.425, that is 425 microns sieve. The soil should pass through a 425 microns sieve, and minimum liquid limit is 25% and plasticity index is 6%. You have to write all this specification is very important. Okay, liquid limit is less than 25% and plasticity index should be less than 6%. Okay, if we won't achieve this limitations, you have to again relay or compact it again, and you should achieve this much limitation. Okay, next, fines passing 75 micron should be less than 10%. Okay, less than 10% of the points should be passing through this year. Next, CBR value. CBR, you know how to calculate. It should be less than 30%, or it should not. It should be greater than 30% for a important highway, that is national highway, and it may be more than 25 or 20% if it is satisfactory. If the CBR is 20 or 25% for other important roads, that is you can tell it as district roads or village roads. Okay, these are the 3 points. That is, one is liquid limit should be less than 25%, and plasticity index should be greater than 6, sorry, less than 6%, and fines passing through 75 microns should be less than 10%. That means there should not, at least there should be 90% of the soil retained in this. There should not be much fines. Then CVR value should be greater than 30%. Okay, these are the limitations. Next, how you will construct, that is GSB layer is constructed on the top of the prepared subgrade. First you will prepare the subgrade. above subgrade you are going to prepare a GSB layer. Okay, and you are checking the you are removing this thing, that is grass, vegetation, or any debris. Okay, unwanted material, if any unwanted materials present in that top surface, means you are scarifying and removing that one. Okay, construction steps, you can see these equipments, these are the equipments which will be used. Okay, that is, it will spray the material and it will add the water. Okay, that is, after adding you are again compacting, and compacting, after compacting you are achieving the desired gradation or limitations. And in that it is just like a scale, you can measure, it will be a sloping surface. This blade can be adjusted. Okay, it may be straight or it may be in a sloping portion. You can adjust this blade for a desired length or desired slope. Okay, it's just less than 1 minute time is remaining. I will continue. Next, surface material is spread to uniform thickness. First, what you will do, you will spread the material to uniform thickness. That is using a grader. Next, moisture content of the material is checked. Okay, you have to check for a moisture content of the material.
Hi students, லாஸ்ட் வீடியோவில் நம்ம வந்துட்டு ஃப்ளெக்சிபிள் பேவ்மெண்ட் உடைய டிசைன் ப்ரொசீஜர் எல்லாமே நான் வந்துட்டு சொல்லியிருப்பேன். ஓகேவா? அதாவது IRC 37ல் என்னென்ன சார்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்குது, டேபிள்ஸ் இருக்குது, இந்த ப்ராப்ளத்துக்கு வந்துட்டு என்ன ஃபார்முலா, அதாவது என் ஃபார்முலா என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம், அந்த எண்ணுக்கு என்னென்ன டேட்டாஸ் வேணும் அப்படிங்கிறது எல்லாமே நான் லாஸ்ட் வீடியோவில் சொல்லியிருப்போம். ஓகேவா? அதாவது அண்ட் தென் வந்துட்டு டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூஷன் ஃபேக்டர் கண்டுபிடிக்கணும் அப்படின்னா என்னென்ன கண்டிஷன்ஸ் வேணும் அப்படிங்கிறது எல்லாமே நான் லாஸ்ட் வீடியோவில் சொல்லியிருக்கேன். சரியா? ஸோ இப்போ உங்களுக்கு யூனிவர்சிட்டி எக்ஸாமில் கேட்ட ப்ராப்ளம் இது. 3rd யூனிட்டில் இந்த ப்ராப்ளம் வந்துட்டு நிறைய வருஷம் கேட்டிருக்காங்க. ஓகேவா? ஸோ நமக்கு ஃப்ளெக்சிபிள் பேவ்மெண்ட்லையும் ரிஜிட் பேவ்மெண்ட்லையும் ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்குது. பட் உங்கள் 17 ரெகுலேஷன் சிலபஸில் ரிஜிட் பேவ்மெண்ட்டுடைய ப்ராப்ளம் வந்துட்டு மென்ஷன் பண்ண கிடையாது. ஓகே, ஸோ அப்போ நம்ம ஃப்ளெக்சிபிள் பேவ்மெண்ட்லேருந்து ப்ராப்ளம் கேட்குறதுக்கு வந்து சான்சஸ் நிறையா இருக்குது. ஓகேவா? ஸோ இந்த ப்ராப்ளம் வந்து நிறைய வருஷம் கேட்டிருக்காங்க, அதனால் நம்ம பார்ப்போம். ஓகேவா? ஸோ டேட்டா என்ன கொடுத்துருக்காங்க அப்படின்னா 2 லைன் கேரியேஜ் வே சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. 2 லைன் கேரியேஜ் வே அப்படிங்கிற டேட்டா எதுக்காக கொடுத்துருக்காங்க அப்படின்னா டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூஷன் ஃபேக்டர் நீங்கள் கண்டுபிடிக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக 2 லைன் கேரியேஜ் வே போட்டிருக்காங்க. ஓகே சார், அண்ட் தென் வந்துட்டு ஏ வேல்யூ கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஏங்கிறது 400 CVPT cumulative vehicles per day கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. சம் ஆஃப் போத் டைரக்ஷன், 2 டைரக்ஷனுக்கும் சேர்த்து கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஓகேவா? அண்ட் தென் டிராஃபிக் க்ரோத் ரேட் அப்படிங்கிறது ஆர். ஓகே, ஆருடைய வேல்யூ 7.5% கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஓகே, 7.5 அப்படின்னா 7.5 டிவைடட் 100 போட்டிங்கன்னா 0.075 கிடைக்கும். டிசைன் லைஃப் அப்படிங்கிறது என் வந்து 15 இயர்ஸ் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ வெஹிக்கல் டேமேஜ் ஃபேக்டர் எஃப் அப்படிங்கிறது 2.5 கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ அண்ட் தென் இந்த டேட்டாவெல்லாம் வச்சு CPR 4%க்கு உங்களை டிசைன் பண்ண சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ டிசைன் பண்ணுறது அப்படின்னா என்ன அப்படின்னா நம்ம அந்த பேமெண்ட்டுடைய டோட்டல் திக்னஸ் ஃபைண்ட் அவுட் பண்ணணும். அண்ட் தென் அதில் இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒவ்வொரு லேயருடைய திக்னஸை ஃபைண்ட் அவுட் பண்ணணும். ஓகே, ஸோ அதுதான் ப்ராப்ளம். நமக்கு மொத்தம் 3 ஸ்டெப் தான். ஃபஸ்ட்டு டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூஷன் ஃபேக்டர் கண்டுபிடிக்கணும். செகண்ட் ஸ்டெப்பில் டோட்டல் பேமெண்ட் திக்னஸ் கண்டுபிடிக்கணும். தேர்ட் ஸ்டெப்பில் அந்த டோட்டல் திக்னஸில் ஒவ்வொரு லேயருக்கும் எவ்வளோ திக்னஸ் அப்படிங்கிறத கண்டுபிடிக்கணும். ஸோ இது 3 தான் உங்களுடைய வேலை. ஸோ ப்ராப்ளம் சால்வ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு முன்னாடி உங்கள் கையில் வந்துட்டு IRC 37 கோட் புக் இருந்துச்சு, அந்த ஜெராக்ஸ் இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா எடுத்து கையில் வச்சுக்கோங்க. இல்லை அப்படின்னா நான் ஆல்ரெடி PPTயில் அந்த கிராஃப் எல்லாமே இருக்கும், அந்த கிராஃபை வச்சு இப்போதைக்கு நீங்கள் பார்த்துக்கோங்க. அதுக்கப்புறமா நீங்கள் வந்துட்டு அதை வாங்கி ஜெராக்ஸ் போட்டுக்கோங்க. ஓகேவா? ஸோ இப்போ கிவன் எல்லாமே நோட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. ஸோ டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூஷன் ஃபேக்டர் அப்படிங்கிறது 0.75 கொடுத்துருக்கேன். எப்படி வந்து 0.75? ஸோ லாஸ்ட் இதில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நான் எடுத்து காட்டுறேன். கொடுத்துருக்கேன், இதில் கொடுத்துருக்கான் 2 லைன் சிங்கிள் கேரியேஜ் வே அப்படின்னா எவ்வளவுன்னா 75%. ஓகே, ஸோ நமக்கு 2 லைன்னு கொடுத்துருக்கிறதுனால இந்த டேட்டா IRCயில் கொடுத்துருக்க டேட்டா 75% தான் எடுத்துக்கணும். ஸோ 75%ங்கிறதுனால தான் எவ்வளவு 0.75. ஓகே, ஸோ அதனால் டியோடைய வேல்யூ அப்படிங்கிறது 0.75 அப்படின்னு நான் எடுத்துருக்கேன். சரியா? ஸோ அதுக்கடுத்து n ஈக்குவல் டு 365 இன்ட்டு 1 + r ஹோல் பவர் n - 1 டிவைடட் r இன்ட்டு a இன்ட்டு d இன்ட்டு f. ஓகே, ஸோ 365 பொடியை போட்டுருவீங்க. r அப்படிங்கிறது 7.5%னால 0.075, என்னுடைய வேல்யூ 15, a 400, d அப்படிங்கிறது டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூஷன் ஃபேக்டர், f 2.5 கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஸோ இதெல்லாம் கேல்குலேட்டர் அடித்து பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா உங்களுக்கு எந்த ஆன்சர் வரும். ஸோ இந்த 72 lakhs அப்படிங்கிறது என்ன அப்படின்னா ESA. ஓகே, ஸோ ஈக்குவலன்ட் ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் ஆக்சலில் உங்களுக்கு ஆன்சர் வரும். ஓகே, ஸோ அதை நான் மில்லியன் ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் ஆக்சலுக்கு கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா டிவைடட் 10⁶ போட்டேன் அப்படின்னா எனக்கு மில்லியன் ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் ஆக்சலில் வரும். ஓகே, ஸோ ஏன் அப்படின்னா மில்லியன் ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் ஆக்சலுக்கு தான் நம்மக்கிட்ட IRC கிராஃப் இருக்கும். ஓகே, ஸோ அதனால் மில்லியன் ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் ஆக்சலுக்கு கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணுறோம். ஓகேவா, ஸோ இப்போ என்னுடைய வேல்யூ 7.2 இருக்கும் அண்ட் தென் CPR வேல்யூ 4%. ஸோ ரெண்டுக்கும் எடுத்துகிட்டு அந்த IRCயில் ஃபஸ்ட்டு சார்ட் ஒன்று இருக்கும். அதாவது என்னுடைய வேல்யூ 1 to 10 வரை இருந்தால் ஒரு சார்ட்டு, 10 to above இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா இன்னொரு சார்ட். ஸோ ஃபஸ்ட்டு சார்ட் இப்போ நமக்கு 7.2 அப்படிங்கிறது எவ்வளோக்குள்ளே வந்திருக்கு, 1 to 10க்குள்ளே வந்திருக்கு. ஓகேவா, ஸோ அதனால் நான் ஃபஸ்ட்டு சார்ட் எடுக்கிறேன். ஓகே, ஸோ இந்த இருக்குது ஃபஸ்ட்டு சார்ட்டில். இப்போ கீழே வந்துட்டு 7 இருக்குது, 7.15 அப்படின்னா 7க்கு பக்கத்தில். ஓகே, ஸோ அதை அப்படியே மேலே லைட்டாக கோடு போட்டுட்டு CPR வேல்யூ 4% எப்படிங்க இருக்குது, மேலேருந்து 3ஆவது ஒரு கோடு இருக்கா அது. ஸோ 7க்கு நேராக அந்த கிராஃபை அந்த பக்கம் கொண்டு போனீங்க அப்படின்னா அங்கிட்டு இருக்குது தான் என்னது டோட்டல் திக்னஸ். ஸோ 600க்கும் 700க்கும் நடுவில் கரெக்டாக அந்த லைன் போகுது. ஸோ அப்போ நம்ம அதை அப்ராக்சிமேட்டாக என்ன எடுத்துக்கலாம், மிட் பாயிண்டில் இருக்கிறதுனால 615 நான் எடுத்துக்கிறேன். ஓகேவா, ஸோ அப்போ பேமெண்ட்டுடைய டோட்டல் திக்னஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது எவ்வளவு, 650. ஓகே, ஸோ இப்போ இந்த 650க்கு இந்த சார்ட்டுக்கு அடுத்தபடியாக என்ன இருக்கும்னா டேபிள்ஸ் இருக்கும். ஓகேவா, அதாவது n வேல்யூ 1 to 10க்கு CPR வேல்யூ 3, 4 எல்லாம் வச்சு டேபிள்ஸ் இருக்கும். ஓகேவா, ஸோ அந்த டேபிள் எடுத்துக்கோங்க. இந்த இருக்கா CPR வேல்யூ 4%க்கு n வேல்யூ 1 to 10 MSE இருக்கிறதுக்கு சார்ட் கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க. ஸோ இதில் அதாவது ரெண்டாவதாக இருக்குது டேபிள். ஓகேவா, ஸோ அதில் 620க்கு இருக்குது, 700க்கு இருக்குது. பட் நமக்கு வந்திருக்கிறது என்ன அப்படின்னா 650. ஓகே, ஸோ அப்போ நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா 620க்கு 25, 700க்கு 40னா 650க்கு எவ்வளவு, அதே மாதிரி பைண்டர் கோர்ஸ் எவ்வளவு, கிரானுலர் க்ளோஸ் எவ்வளவு, கிரானுலர் சப்பேஸ் எவ்வளோன்னு பார்க்கணும். ஓகேவா, ஸோ இதெல்லாம் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா இங்கே இன்டர்புலேட் பண்ணி கண்டுபிடிக்கணும். பட் இந்த 4க்குமே இன்டர்புலேட் கண்டுபிடிக்கிறது அப்படிங்கிறது கொஞ்சம் டிஃபிகல்ட்டாக இருக்குங்கிறதுக்காக நம்ம என்ன பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னா 620க்கு என்ன வேல்யூஸ் இருக்கோ அதை அப்படியே எடுத்துக்கோங்க. அதாவது வியரிங் சர்ஃபேஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது 25, பைண்டருங்கிறது 60, கிரானுலர் பேஸுங்கிறது 250, கிரானுலர் சர்ஃபேஸுங்க 285. ஸோ இப்போ வியரிங், பைண்டர், கிரானுலர் 3ஐயும் அப்படியே எடுத்துக்கிட்டு கிரானுலர் சப்பேஸ் மட்டும் என்ன பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா 620 விட 650ங்கிறது எவ்வளோ கூட, 30 கூட. ஓகேவா, ஸோ அப்போ அந்த 30 என்ன பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா 285 கூட ஆட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க, அதாவது 315. ஸோ இப்போ நமக்கு என்ன ஆன்சர், வியரிங் சர்ஃபேஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது வியரிங்கும் பைண்டரும் சேர்த்து 25 + 60, கிரானுலர் பேஸுங்கிறது 250, கிரானுலர் சப்பேஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது எவ்வளவு 315. இதுதான் அவங்களுடைய ஃபைனல் ஆன்சர். ஓகேவா, ஸோ இங்கே போட்டிருக்காங்களா 25 + 60, ரோட் பேஸ் 250, 315. ஓகேவா, ஸோ எல்லாமே எதனால் வந்துச்சு, n வேல்யூ கால்குலேட் பண்ணணும், n வேல்யூடைய கரஸ்பாண்டிங் டோட்டல் திக்னஸ் எடுத்துக்கிறீங்க அண்ட் தென் அதை வச்சு டேபிளில் எடுத்துக்கிறீங்க. ஓகேவா, ஸோ இவ்வளோ தான் ப்ராப்ளம் ஃபினிஷ் ஆயிடும். சரியா, ஸோ இன்னொரு ப்ராப்ளம் பாருங்கள், இதை நீங்கள் ஒர்க் அவுட் பண்ணி பாருங்கள். ஓகே, ஸோ இங்கே என்ன கொடுத்துருக்காங்க அப்படின்னா 2 லைன் கேரியேஜ் வே கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஓகேவா, 2 லைன் கேரியேஜ் வே எதுக்காக கொடுத்துருக்காங்க, D உடைய வேல்யூ. ஓகே, ஸோ D உடைய வேல்யூ இப்போ எவ்வளவு 75%, 0.75. n வேல்யூ எவ்வளவு 15 years கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. அதுக்கடுத்து A வேல்யூ கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஓகேவா, ஸோ A வேல்யூ 150 CVW இன் ஈச் டைரக்ஷன். நமக்கு என்ன வேணும் அப்படின்னா போத் டைரக்ஷன்லேயும் வேணும். ஸோ சிங்கிள் டைரக்ஷனில் 150 அப்படின்னா 2 டைரக்ஷனில் எவ்வளவு 300 CVBD கொடுத்துருக்காங்கன்னு அர்த்தம். அண்ட் தென் ஆனுவல் க்ரோத் ரேட் எவ்வளவா 5%, R வேல்யூ 5%. அண்ட் தென் வெஹிக்கல் டேமேஜ் ஃபேக்டர் F அப்படிங்கிறது 2.5, CPR வேல்யூ 4% சம் கேட்டிருக்காங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ கிவன் நீங்கள் நோட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. 2 லைனு A கொடுத்துருக்காங்க, R கொடுத்துருக்காங்க, N, F, CPR வேல்யூ. ஓகே, ஸோ இப்போ ஃபஸ்ட் ஸ்டெப் நமக்கு என்னது டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூஷன் ஃபேக்டர். ஸோ டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூஷன் ஃபேக்டருங்கிறது எவ்வளவு 2 லைனுக்கு 75%, அதனால 0.75. ஓகே, ஸோ இப்போ n வேல்யூக்கு நமக்கு என்ன தெரியும், ஃபார்முலா தெரியும். ஃபார்முலாவில் டேட்டாஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் சப்ஸ்டியூட் பண்ணுங்கள். இது நான் நெட்லேருந்து எடுத்து ஆன்சர் போட்டிருக்கேன். ஸோ நீங்கள் கேல்சியில் போட்டு உங்களுக்கு என்ன ஆன்சர் வருதோ அந்த ஆன்சருக்கு கிராஃபில் பார்த்து எக்ஸாக்ட் வேல்யூ எடுத்துக்கோங்க. ஓகேவா, ஸோ இப்போ இன்கேஸ் அது 4.4 இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா சிபிஆருடைய கிராஃப் 4%ல் ஃபஸ்ட்டு சார்ட்டில் 4.4க்கு எவ்வளோன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 580 வந்திருக்கு. ஓகே, ஸோ அப்போ அந்த 580க்கு இப்போ டேபிளில் போய் பாருங்கள். இப்போ 580ங்கிறது எப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்னா நீங்கள் இன்டர்பிரேட் பண்ணலாம் தேவையில்லை, டேரெக்டாகவே எடுத்துக்கலாம். ஓகேவா, ஸோ இப்போ இங்கே இருக்கா 620க்கு மேலே 580 இருக்கா. ஸோ 580க்கு எவ்வளவு 20, 50, 250, 280. ஸோ இந்த வேல்யூவை அப்படியே எடுத்து இங்கே எழுதிக்கோங்க. ஓகேவா 20 + 50 250 280. ஸோ இவ்வளோ தான் ப்ராப்ளம். ஓகே, ஸோ இந்த மாடல் பார்த்துக்குங்க. ஏதாவது டவுட் இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா என்கிட்ட கேளுங்க. இதோடைய பிபிடி ஷேர் பண்ணுறேன், அதை பார்த்து நீங்கள் ப்ராப்ளம் நோட் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கோங்க. ஓகேவா, தேங்க்யூ.